Earl Johnson, a man in his late 70s, stepped out of the local grocery store. A bag of fresh produce was in one hand, his wallet held tightly in the other. His clothes were simple but neat. His shoes polished, a testament to a lifetime of quiet dignity and hard work.
For over 30 years, this neighborhood had been his home, and this simple trip to the store was a daily routine.
As he shuffled towards his old sedan, a police cruiser screeched to a halt right beside him.
2 officers, Daniels and Miller, stepped out, their presence immediately imposing. Officer Daniels, the taller of the two, approached Earl with an arrogant smirk.
"Sir, we've had reports of a suspicious individual in the area," Daniels said, his eyes locking onto Earl's wallet.
"Mind if we ask you a few questions?"
Earl's brow furrowed in confusion. Suspicious? I just bought my groceries.
I've lived on this street for over 30 years. But Daniels wasn't really listening.
He shot a look at his partner, Miller, who was leaning casually against the police car. Looks like he might be carrying something illegal, Daniels muttered, his tone dripping with mockery.
Let's check him out before we make any assumptions. Before Earl could even process what was happening,
Daniels snatched the wallet right out of his hands. "What do we have here?"
he mumbled, flipping it open.
He pulled out a thick stack of cash $500.
It was money Earl had just withdrawn, saved painstakingly for much-needed repairs on his house.
Every single dollar was earned through hard work and careful budgeting. Miller sneered, carrying this much cash. That's a little unusual for someone like you. Someone like me?
Earl repeated. His voice was calm, but a firm, quiet strength resonated from within. That's my money.
I'd like it back.
Daniels let out a dark chuckle. We'll have to run some checks.
You might be involved in something illegal. He turned to Miller, as if Earl wasn't even there. We'll hold on to this for now. A familiar sting of injustice began to rise in Earl's chest. He'd been down this road before, bullied by men in uniforms who thought their badges gave them unchecked power. But this time they had picked the wrong man.
Remaining completely still, his eyes fixed on Daniels, Earl calmly reached into his pocket.
He pulled out his phone and dialed a number.
Daniels and Miller exchanged amused glances, calling for backup.
Daniels mocked. What's he gonna do?
Get his lawyer down here.
Earl didn't say a word. The phone rang once, then connected. Hey, son,
Earl said, his voice low and steady.
I need you to come down here. 2 officers just stole my money.
On the other end of the line, a deep, authoritative voice replied instantly.
Where are you, Dad?
Earl gave his location.
I'll be there in 5 minutes,
the voice said, and the line went dead. The officers continued to laugh, but their amusement began to curdle when...
Just a few minutes later, a sleek black SUV with tinted windows pulled up.
The 2 officers looked at each other, confused, as a tall man in a sharp suit stepped out.
A badge glinted in the sunlight on his belt, but it wasn't just any badge. It was the badge of the Chief of Police, Marcus Gonson. Earl's son!
The color drained from the officers' faces. Their arrogance vanished, replaced by sheer panic as Marcus strode toward them, his expression as cold as ice.
Officers Daniels and Miller, Marcus said, his voice controlled and chilling. Would you care to explain why you just robbed my father?
Daniel stammered, completely losing his composure.
Sir, where do
You thought wrong, Marcus snapped, his voice cutting through the air with authority.
He had seen this kind of abuse of power before, and he wouldn't tolerate it.
Hand over the money. Now, Daniels hesitated for a split second before his trembling hands fumbled in his pocket.
He pulled out Earl's wallet and handed it back.
Earl took it, a small, grateful smile touching his lips.
Thank you, son, he said quietly.
Marcus then turned his full attention back to the 2 officers, his glare intensifying.
Both of you report to my office. You are suspended pending a full investigation. And trust me, he added, his voice dangerously low. "You're not going to like what comes next."
Daniels and Miller stood frozen, the reality of the situation crashing down on them. Their careers were dangling by a thread.
They had underestimated a quiet, elderly man, and in doing so, they had destroyed everything they had worked for. Marcus gently escorted his father to the SUV. As they got inside, he turned to Earl with a proud smile. "You all right, Dad?" Earl smiled back, a deep strength shining in his eyes. "I'm fine, son."
Just glad to see justice in action. As they drove away, Earl looked out the window, a warmth of pride filling his chest. He had raised his son right.
Back in the parking lot, Daniels and Miller remained motionless.
The architects of their own downfall, having made the biggest mistake of their lives in just a few short minutes.
They had learned a hard lesson. True authority comes not from a badge, but from character, integrity, and the courage to do what's right. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that matters. We'll see you in the next one.